a special Friday episode of Sports from A to Z. As you guys can see, I'm back here with Max O'Neill for MLB 2020 season preview. Get excited, guys. Rule changes. Teams we like, teams we don't. Players to watch. We're going to cover it all today. So let's jump straight into it. Obvious question to lead us off. Who is your World Series pick?
Do you want my joking pick or do you want my real pick?
Let's have both.
Okay, my joking, messing around pick is the Marlins and the Orioles. But my real pick is the Yankees and the Dodgers, with the Yankees winning in 7 games. In a hard-fought 7 games, with multiple games that go to extra innings and keep people like me on the East Coast up until very late at night.
The two of us, for those of you who don't know, we have both stayed up until 2 a.m. East Coast time watching baseball games before.
Multiple times.
These are the kind of baseball fans we are. We're like serious. Baseball is like a religion to us. So, with that said, who is your sleeper pick?
So I'll give you sleeper picks in both leagues. I'll give you one from each league. My sleeper pick from the American League is definitely the Chicago White Sox. I don't think they're getting enough respect for how good they genuinely have the potential to be this season. They have good pitching, and they finally have good enough hitting to keep up with their pitching. With, people like Yasmani Grandal being added to the team and Nomar Mazara.
He's out with COVID, by the way. Don't know if you saw that.
I did. And then in the National League, I'm going to say the Arizona Diamondbacks are my sleeper pick.
Who picked up Mad Bum? What do you think of the signing?
I think if he pitches well when he's in a renewed environment, I think he could, be a good pickup for them. And the Arizona Diamondbacks also do have gold. I don't know if you know this. One of my favorite players in all of Major League Baseball, Tim Locastro.
Now, what? I know this. You've been a fan of Locastro for years. Last time we went to a game, you intentionally picked a D-backs game just so you could see this guy play. What do you like so much about him? Because I have a feeling not a lot of casual fans know who he is. So what do you like so much about him?
So I like he's very, very fast. He's arguably the fastest player in baseball. And he went to the best college in the entire country. My alma mater. It feels weird at this point, by the way, to say alma mater. I'm still not used to that at the moment. But my alma mater, Ithaca College. Division III school, small Division III school in Ithaca, New York, which most of you, I'm sure, have heard of Cornell University. The Ivy League, it's in the same city as Cornell.
Locastro is your typical slap hitter with a little bit of speed and a surprising amount of power. So, D-backs fans, you got a good one. With that said, I will take a turn at the sleeper pick game and the World Series game. my World Series pick is Yankees-Dodgers in 6 because of a famous signing by the name of Garrett Cole, who incidentally started against Max Scherzer last night, the same exact pitching matchup that was in Game 7 of the World Series last year. Of course, at that point, Cole was an Astro, but that's another story. But Garrett Cole is just, there is no other way to put it. He is an artist. He knows how to pitch. With 95-mile-an-hour bullets at the top of the zone. He's impressive. I've never seen him pitch up close, really, until last night, and he impressed the heck out of me. I don't know what you saw last night, but that was impressive.
He pitched very, very well last night. It was entertaining to see, and I think Max Scherzer pitched well last night too. He gave up 4 runs, but he still had 11 strikeouts in 5 innings or something like that. It was very he made a few mistakes, but he also, had some pretty good stuff.
And both pitchers were helped out by the extraordinarily horrible umpiring of Angel Hernandez,
What do you expect?
Who, for those who don't know, is arguably the most vilified umpire, rightly so, in the entire MLB. So, if I could just take a moment to throw mud at Hernandez, do you think he should be umping anymore?
I don't.
He should have a job at this point?
No.
Because I don't.
I think he should be fired because he's snotty about it and he's not good. I mean, he's just genuinely not a good umpire. I said this to you yesterday when we were talking. We were texting about Angel Hernandez, and I was thinking about the 2018 ALDS between the Yankees and Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. I think it was game 2, maybe, something like that. And he had 3 calls overturned by replay. I think if you mess up at your job in the real world 3 times in one day and your boss has to fix your mistakes 3 times in one day, I think you get fired in the real world.
Yeah, but baseball is the world where green counts more than prowess.
Yes.
In some cases, exemplified by the fact that we even have a season this year, which don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled that we have a season. I'm thrilled baseball is back, but it shouldn't be happening. It should not be happening.
Yeah, I think it'll be shut down, unfortunately. As you know, I'm a big baseball fan, and I was so excited about the game last night. I mean, I was really waiting for that for a long time. But I think eventually enough players will test positive that it'll have to be shut down. I don't think any of the sports, as we've seen with the NBA, will be shut down from just one test again, like Rudy Gobert. I think it's been too much waiting and too much rebuilding everything for one test to shut it down. But I think if 5 New York Mets or something, test positive and 2 coaches on the Mets, obviously, God forbid, I hope that doesn't happen, but I think that'll shut it down. Something crazy like that.
which could happen. Part of the precautionary procedure in the MLB this year is, of course, a truncated 60-game schedule, but also there are some other significant rule changes, including one that I have been advocating for eons, as long as I've been watching baseball anyway. And that, of course, is the universal DH. What do you think of that? Because I think it quite literally levels the playing field.
I like it because I think while it is entertaining to see the pitchers like Bad Bum just rake up there and really be able to, hit the ball hard, I think most of the time it's a wasted at bat.
Case in point, last postseason, pitchers on NL teams throughout the postseason were 1 for 60 at the plate. 1 for 60.
Yes.
As said on the broadcast last night on ESPN, to put that in perspective, if that batting average were extrapolated on a 162 game season, that would work out to an average of what? Check my math here, please. 100? About, rounding off a few points. Yeah?
That's interesting. That's terrible. That would be one of the lowest averages in the big leagues probably last year.
Yeah. Did I do that math right?
I think you did. Yeah.
Point being that pitchers should not, in any way, be hitting in the future of baseball. While it is entertaining, I have been waiting for the universal DH for years.
Yes.
Now, getting to other rule changes, each relief pitcher will now have to face a minimum of 3 batters unless he ends an inning. What do you think of that one?
I think it's just everything to try to speed up the game. I think, I'm glad it's not just finish an inning because a guy, can face 10 batters and not finish an inning, but I think 3 batters is good. Because if he's really struggling, then you could take him out. But, if he's dealing, then, you obviously leave him in. And, somebody can't do, a ton of damage in 3 batters. They can do a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong. If, 2 people get on or whatever, but, or solo home runs back to back to back. But, you can't – it's not like if they said 5 batters or something. You could do a lot of damage in 5 batters.
But that means that the loogie, otherwise known as the lefty specialist, is essentially gone.
Yeah, but I think that's just sort of the new transition in the game.
So you like that one?
Yeah, I don't really have a ton of a problem with that one, to be honest.
I like it too. Now let's move on to the one I don't like. And I hope this rule goes to hell and rots there after this season. That is the runner at second base leading off extra innings. What is up with that?
Yeah, I don't like that. I agree. I think you need, or I think, it's sort of, it's to speed up the game, and it's to not have 17 inning games or to try to not have 17 inning games or whatever. But I think that after this year, this year it's fine. I don't have a problem with it this year, because this year is a weird year and you can try stuff out. But I think after this year, that rule should be scrapped and we should go back to regular extra innings.
So that brings up an interesting question. I kind of already answered it for myself. The 3-batter minimum rule for relievers stays. The universal DH stays. And the runner at second base after 2020 goes. What role or rules do you think are going to stay out of this 2020 weird year?
I think the DH, the universal DH, it's only a matter of time, and I think that'll most likely stay. And I think probably the 3-batter rule stays, but I think the extra inning rule leaves after this year.
It better. So, why don't we move on to players and teams to watch? What is one player or one team you're going to kind of be watching other than the New York Yankees, who, for those of you who don't know, both of us are huge Yankee fans. So obviously we'll be watching their games. They're made up of pseudo-football players.
Yes.
But other than that, who are you watching this year?
Sorry. I'm watching, let's think about this for a second. I think players that I'm watching, a team that I'm watching particularly is the Cincinnati Reds. I think they're going to be really good this year. I think they're even going to win the NL Central this year.
Over the Cubs?
Yes, and the Brewers and the Cardinals. I think they're going to win the NL Central this year. Like, I'm a huge fan of them. I'm very, very high on them. I think a player that I'm watching is I think let's see if Shohei Ohtani can stay healthy and he can stay a pitcher and a hitter over a full season again, even though it is 60 games. And if the Angels call up Joe Adell, I think he'll be really entertaining to watch.
There you go. There you have Max's picks. Now, here are mine. Now, for this list, I'm excluding players like Mike Trout and Kevin Kiermaier and all those people who you would typically watch in big market teams. But my small market player to watch this year is the Reds, Eugenio Suarez, because he made a name for himself last year. The guy hit 49 home runs last year.
Yeah, Eugenio Suarez is really good.
Yeah. I was tuning into the Reds broadcast earlier tonight, and they were telling me that over the last 2 years, only one person in the entire MLB has hit more home runs than him. Do you know who that is?
The first name that came to my mind is Stanton, so I'll say Stanton.
Nope. Mike Trout.
Wow.
Over the last 2 years, Suarez has 83 home runs, one behind Trout with 84.
Suarez is 0 for 3 tonight, so.
But that's just tonight. He's good and should be watched.
It doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying he's 0 for 3 tonight.
But watch him. And in the AL, my player to watch is former Pirate and current Ray, Charlie Morton.
That's a good pick.
That curveball is insane. Before I came on the air tonight, I was watching the Jays and Rays game, and he looked sharp. He looked unbelievable. Charlie Morton has a 1.79 ERA with runners in scoring position. 1.79. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. Charlie Morton is one of the top pitchers in the game. So, we covered a team to watch. We covered a player to watch. How about a division to watch? What division are you thinking is going to be the closest horse race this year?
I think the best division in baseball this year will be the AL West. I think you look at everybody in that division, and I think everybody in that division is, good enough to make the playoffs, really.
I would argue that division is top.
I think the worst team in that division is it top heavy?
Top
I don't
heavy.
know.
With the Dodgers.
I think it's pretty deep. You have the Angels, the Athletics, the Rangers, and the Astros, who can all realistically make the playoffs.
The Angels aren't. Let's be real. The Angels aren't getting anywhere past the first round.
I didn't say the first round. I just said the playoffs.
Okay.
And I'd like to remind you that they have the greatest player in baseball history, arguably.
Albert, you wouldn't be talking about Albert Pujols, would you?
No, I'm talking about Michael Trout.
Okay, just making sure. Because Albert Pujols is a surefire Hall of Famer, but 3 seasons in the MLB for Mike Trout and 3 MVPs, you don't get that every day.
Yes.
The guy has it all. So, this has been a pretty thorough preview of the MLB landscape for 2020, but I think we're missing one thing.
Okay, I'm ready.
And that is that the Toronto Blue Jays finally found a home ballpark in Buffalo. What do you think of that?
I think it's interesting. I mean, they can't play in Toronto, obviously, so they're looking for places. And so why not? Buffalo is, pretty close to Canada. And so, you'll get the TSN coverage still, and you'll get the Sportsnet coverage still, while still getting the, American coverage. And they have a ballpark there that obviously has to be retrofitted to fit a major league team. But you don't have to worry about crowds there, which is, which helps them there. It does, I will admit this, it does disappoint me though, because, and I'll tell you this, because I was hoping to game the system a little bit, and the Toronto Blue Jays home stadium, I was joking about this with some people, the Toronto Blue Jays home stadium has a hotel in the outfield that you can rent a room in. I did a few years ago.
And I
And
want
so
to.
I did. It was amazing. It was it made that ballpark exponentially. Without that, the ballpark's okay. With that, the ballpark is one of my favorites, because rolling out of bed and opening the, curtains and looking out on a baseball field was insane.
Did you
And
rent it
so
on a game day?
yes.
Could you actually see the game, or did you need binoculars?
So we didn't go to the room at all for the game. But we woke up and they were, manicuring the field and getting all the graphics ready. I saw a graphic of Rob Refsnyder, the former New York Yankee, so that made me very excited, even though he was kind of a bum as a Yankee, if I'm being honest. And so that was awesome. But yeah, I was hoping to get, to game the system and rent a room at the Blue Jays hotel and, just see Yankees Jays from the hotel room. Be let in Canada and all that kind of stuff,
Not to mention that it would allow you to get away from Donald Trump.
Always good news.
Who said, actually, the first thing that makes sense to come out of his mouth in a long time. That is, of course, addressing the prevalence of sports psychologically for Americans in a time like this. What would you say on the front of sports being psychologically important to Americans, as Trump rightly asserted a couple days ago?
Sorry to interrupt you. I think sports are important for this country and globally. I think they help people heal in times of crisis. I think they provide a distraction from people's problems. No matter what's really going on in the world, you can turn on a baseball game or a basketball game or football, et cetera, and just kind of forget about all the crap that you have in your life at that moment and just watch a game for a few hours.